You're recovering from your past. You feel like life is taking your last. At your dreams you're starting to laugh. It's time to put down the emotional bags. Tune in to the Simply Said podcast. The Simply Said podcast. Tune in.
You are listening to the Simply Said podcast, hosted by Soekneiuaha, aka Pastor Greer. Okay, hey y'all. Welcome to the Simply Said podcast. I am your host, Soekneiuaha, aka Pastor Greer. And motherhood got hands. Like she's a fighter. She likes to scratch and tussle and punch. Okay, I love it here. Don't get me wrong. I love it here. And also, I am soliciting your prayers because motherhood got hands. She's a feisty little chick. And today I'm gonna just drop. Okay, this. Hey. I'm not even going to edit that out. Listen, today we're going to talk about toxic traits. I'm going to share with y'all a few of my toxic traits. And, maybe we could work together on, detoxifying ourselves. We detoxify our skin, our hair, nails, bloodstream, digestive tract, all that stuff. Let's try to detox emotionally. Let's do that. One toxic trait that I noticed was that somebody will come and tell me something that somebody else said about me, but I never seem to be able to bring myself to ask, well, what did you say? When said person said the thing that they said, the thing that you're telling me that they said when they said it, what did you say? And it's either because, you know what? It's because I'm afraid that I'm not going to like the answer that they give me, and that's going to make me look at them sideways, and that's going to mess up the relationship. If I'm being perfectly 100% honest, and there's no reason for me to talk about this unless I'm going to be honest, I'm afraid that if the person doesn't give me the answer that I think they should give me, when I ask them what did they say when the person said what they said about me, that was so bad that you had to come tell me about it. If I don't like the answer they give, the relationship is going to tank after that. But why should I be afraid of that though? If I need to know, I need to know. Another toxic trait, a trait that I don't really care for, is I will just check out. I will just check out social media, answering text messages, returning phone calls. There's just a switch in my brain that turns off. You know how like certain machinery, when it gets too hot, it's programmed to just shut down to prevent like an explosion or a fire or whatever. I think that's what my brain does. My brain does an automatic shut off when it's overwhelmed. And that could, very well be chemical imbalance. That could very well be a trauma response. That could very well be just me simply being overwhelmed and not always engaging in good time management. Child, it could be anything. But that's something that I've noticed about myself, that I've noticed a pattern about. And sometimes it's good to check out. However, there is a time, a place, and a way to do everything. When I decided that I needed to take a break from ministry activities with my church, I made sure that I communicated this to my bishop and as well as the administrator so that she would know. So I talked to my bishop, my bishop's wife, and the administrator. Now, if I had just stopped showing up to the church services, or if I had just stopped answering messages, stopped responding, that would have been the wrong way to do it. But I did it in a way where everybody's aware of what's going on. I even sent Bishop a message some days ago updating him on my condition, dealing with postpartum depression, just simply being overwhelmed, being tired, lack of sleep, lack of nutrition, frankly, because I'm not really eating enough, or I'm not eating the right things at the right times. I'm kind of, it's a lot. Yeah, parents, y'all understand. Those of you that have had to deal with newborn stage, infancy stage, it's crazy. It's very crazy. Your life turns upside down. There's just no way to avoid that. And I think if people go into parenthood not trying to hold on to their former life, not trying to escape from all matter of inconvenience, I think that some people would be able to slide into parenthood a little more smoothly. It's always going to feel like you've been pushed off of a cliff, period. It's always going to feel, I don't care how many Instagram videos you watch, I don't care how many TikTok videos you watch, I don't care how many books you read, how many apps you have on your phone. You don't know that little person. They are those little people for multiple births. You don't know. I thought I knew my son. I thought that I was very accurate about his personality. He's definitely a boss. He's definitely strong-willed like his father. I picked that out almost immediately. But when he was born, I felt like I was giving birth to a stranger, and having to learn that, okay, yeah, you knew him in the womb, but he's a different person now. That was difficult, and I didn't expect that. So for those of you that are expecting, know that the child that you have come to kind of know and kind of pick out certain traits, certain things about them, it's going to change once they're born. And then when they go from newborn to infant, it's going to change again. It's going to change again and again and again. Just like when you're in a relationship with your significant other, they aren't the person that they were when you met them. Hopefully they're better. I can definitely say I'm a better person than I was before I met Cliff. And I've watched him grow and change and evolve as well. So it's the same with children. So don't let it bother you that you're having to learn your child, like learn them all over again, because that little person that you bring home from the hospital, the little baby that we brought home from the hospital is not the baby that he is today. And that's a good thing. So just sidebar. But child, I will check out, and I don't know how to fix that. I don't know if it's something that needs to be, I don't think it's something that needs to be fixed. I think it's something that needs to be curbed a little, right? It needs to be refined. So I'm gonna work on refining that trait to where when I need to engage in self-care and I need to pull away, that is done in a way that is respectful to not only myself, but anyone who it might affect, right? But when it came to church, I definitely, I definitely wanted to make sure I executed that correctly. Another trait, this is one I noticed about motherhood. A trait that I have been dealing with, it's not mine, I don't want it. But I'm acknowledging that it's circling the airport, okay? It's trying to land, is that when my son falls asleep in my arms, it's almost like I'm paralyzed with fear. I don't want to get up and put him in his crib because I sometimes feel inadequate when it comes to my ability to be able to put him back to sleep if he jostles himself awake. It's like a little mini panic attack I have every time I have to put him in his crib. I'd rather walk around with him for 30 minutes. I'd rather sit in a recliner for an hour than to have the possibility that I might have several attempts to put him to sleep. And I'm sure that's a very normal fear. That's a very common fear that especially new parents, especially first-time parents have. But it's becoming bothersome because with fibromyalgia, I have to be very careful sitting for too long, standing for too long, walking for too long, carrying things for too long. And Alonzo is now 13 pounds, 9.6 ounces. He's getting kind of heavy. So I really should not be walking around with him, especially on one side, for long periods of time, because obviously as his primary caregiver, I need to be in the best physical shape I can be, considering the fact that I'm dealing with a chronic pain disorder. But that was something that I noticed. So putting that into other areas of my life, I see that there are certain times where I don't want to deal with something because I am insecure about my ability to be able to handle it and put it to bed and not have it jostle itself awake. So there's a bit of a pattern here. I'm still dealing with my lack of desire to engage in conflict. Okay? And anytime I've tried to run from conflict, it's like in a horror film when the main character is running from the monster, the killer, whatever, and they're tripping, they're falling out of their shoes, it just seems like anything that could happen to keep them from escaping, that's what's happening. Well, that's pretty much what happens to me in life. It's a lot. But I think the reason why people don't want to confront their toxic traits or things that they want to change is because maybe they're just simply afraid that they don't have the power, the strength, or the knowledge to be able to handle it. Sometimes it's not the lack of willingness, it's the lack of confidence. I think that's what a lot of us are dealing with, is we're dealing with a lack of confidence. And it looks like laziness. It looks like disobedience. But the root of it is fear. The root of it is lack of confidence in one's ability to do X, Y, Z. This is not just self-evaluation, but it's also evaluating other people's behavior and kind of trying to see where you can best facilitate you not misjudging a situation. How you can help yourself not misjudge someone based on actions and the way that you see them versus the way that they really are. And I know that's hard. I know it's hard because once you see something the way you want to see it, you just want to see it the way you want to see it and you don't want to see it any other way. Understood. However, what happens when it's you? When you're on the other side of that? What happens when you are the one that needs understanding? You are the one that needs grace. You are the one that needs time. You are the one that needs help. You are the one that needs somebody to be a little gentle with you. Because everybody wants to dole out tough love, but nobody wants to receive it. And yes, tough love sometimes is necessary. And what is tough love? Tough love is not abuse. Tough love is not an excuse for you to mistreat somebody or feel superior to somebody. Let me repeat that. Tough love is not an excuse for you to feel superior. Listen, I'm passionate about this thing right here. Let me say it so I can say it right. Wait a minute, let me go back. Hold on. Let me gather myself. Okay, tough love. Tough love is not a gateway for you to be able to abuse someone or to enforce your belief that you are superior to this person. I know listen, it had to come on out. The enemy didn't want it to come out because it's going to touch. It's going to touch and grab. But some of y'all need to be touched and grabbed, but not in that kind of. What was that? Persephone. I mean, touched and grabbed in the spirit. Stay in the spirit. Don't just. Okay, listen. Woo. what's going on here? I'm keeping all of this. I'm not editing any of this out because I I chase purpose, not perfection. And in my imperfection, there's inspiration for somebody. So that's what my mindset is when I go to, am I editing this because it will flow better and get my point across better? Or am I editing this in order to be perfect or to appear perfect or to appear flawless in the delivery of my message? Every delivery of every message is not going to be perfect, but it needs to be purposeful. So with that being said, I'm gonna eat the rest of this carrot cake and drink the rest of this tea and try to feel better about life, because that girl got hands. I'm sorry. She praying for y'all. Pray for me as well. Yeah. I don't know what the rest of this year holds, and it makes me both excited and terrified. But I always want to lean more on the side of excitement. Just a little bit of terror to keep things interesting. No. But anyway, you have been listening to the Simply Seth podcast, hosted by Soekneiuaha, aka Pastor Greer. I love y'all. See you back here next week.